Hello. I got this like what first quarter moon lighting going on. It's fine. I literally just saw that like I got the notification Reem uploaded the tourist video, and it would be right now. But anyway, so excuse me. Open up the video with my customary yawn. If you're new here for some reason, I've been seeing and hearing a lot of geese lately. And I've been noticing that they're doing some interesting things in the sky. Um, so like I saw them, and for the first time, I guess I don't necessarily always pay a lot of attention to geese. They were flying overhead when I was on a break, and I saw a goose like break ranks because they fly in the V. I saw it like leave, and then it transitioned onto the other side of the V, and there was like a space perfectly for that goose. It just like went in like between two different birds a few days ago, like earlier in the week, last week. Hey Holly, how you doing? I do live. um and then the other day, or a few days after that, I saw them and it looked like they were kind of in a diamond before like that, and I was like, oh snap, is that a Ganunga gap in the sky? And until they as they kept flying, they moved into that V, and then a few days after that, I saw them, and there was a V, and one bird broke ranks, and I was like, "Oh snap! I'm about to witness it again." And then two more birds broke ranks, but I was standing under a building, and they were flying overhead. So, hey Eve, how you doing? So when I saw like there were three in the middle before they did whatever they were doing. I didn't see the end because again, like they flew over the building. So it was like the V with like three in the middle. And then one day, I think it was the day after, the first one like switched lanes. What did they do? I was looking at the V in the sky, and it almost looked like one of the arrows. Like whenever you see a meteorologist, girl, I'm all right. I work like 7 days, from Sunday to Saturday, every day. I'm so spent. I'm just like exhausted. Well, I'm feeling better today. I'm gonna want me a day off. I had like 18 hours over. I was 18 hours over. And that just started Friday, like the Friday before last. So, hey, Raya, what's up? Saturday. It's Sunday, I think. I don't know. Um, I was looking at the geese, and they kind of looked like an arrow on a meteorological map. Like they were sort of pointing out a current in the sky. And then Thursday, one of the clocks stopped. It like stopped towards the end of the day. And then so the next day I came in, I pulled it down because I was going to get a battery, and I was busy, so I didn't have time. Hey, hey. I wish it was Saturday and I could get my 2 day weekend back because, girl, anyway. Um, so I set the clock down, and then I didn't have time to go get the battery. And I looked down when I was on the computer next to the clock, and it was moving. And I was like, what? So the clock works? And so I put the clock back up, and then it stopped again. And then I was like, is this some weird, like, of course, like, I'm Patrick, I'm me. I look for signs in a lot of things. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't want to see signs and things, so I don't. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. But I'm like, is this not for me? I wish it was. I don't think. I mean, nobody told me it was a day off. Maybe I should confirm. I'm pretty sure we don't have tomorrow off. Actually, oh, I don't know if I took a list. I don't know if I took a picture of the list of vacation. I might have to check actually, because I can't remember if I saw it or not. It might not be. I don't know. Hopefully it is. I'll check. I'll check. I do? Okay. All right. I'll accept that. Thank you for reminding me that I have tomorrow off. Um and I was like, so is this something weird where it's like time isn't flowing and it's like time is slowing down to a halt in one direction, but it's like speeding up in another direction. And I guess it almost reminds me of that hexagonal storm, but was like that. And it's like it's that keeps everything sort of turning. Hey Vicky, how you doing? So anyway, I'm using the wild unknown animal spirits and tarot, the mystical shaman oracle cards, holy mountain at the bottom of the deck, and the mini pocket tarot, wild unknown pocket tarot. Since there's only like geese and the lovers cards, I was like, oh, I'm gonna use because I looked for all the owls before. I'm gonna use swans instead of geese, and I'm just gonna see what comes out around them. I guess. And so for any animal spirit, I'm gonna pull. That's a lot. I'll look for. I'll look. I just heard them. They're outside. Because I don't want to do all the geese. I'll do the swan before and after the swan, before and after the lovers, because that's the one with actual geese in it. Um, and the mother of cups. I feel like I got to do all of them. I might not clarify all of them. I will. I'll just do it. This will be however long it is. So I already shuffled everything, and I'm just gonna get into it. So I got this behemoth. We're gonna start from the top. I'm gonna pull off, and then I'll keep going. So the court family, the swan, yeah, the lovers. Excuse me. And if I get a tarot card, I'll pull before and after that card in the little deck. If I get an animal, I'll just pull one of the mystical shaman oracle cards. The first three cards on the top, it's interesting because we've seen something similar recently. It's the elephant, the six of swords, and the starfish. The elephant and the six of swords came out recently with, was it Pachamama in the giveaway? The shooting star over the head of the daughter of pentacles. But now why do I do this to myself? My head hurts already. It feels like the elephant and the shooting star, it's leading to some kind of regeneration within the self. Like it's the regenerative property of the starfish. If you break one off, it grows back. Almost like if you cut the tail off of a lizard, it'll grow back. And the elephant was protecting the fire. So it's almost like, I don't know if it's all of the fire or if it's certain bands within the spectrum of light produced by the fire, but it's going to be reactivating, question mark, certain things within the self with the starfish. um And it feels like there's a very intentional energy. Like the story, it's very scientific. It's very almost like if you had a creature that could regenerate its limbs and it got an infection in one of the limbs, if you cut it off, it'll grow back. And it's like how we do, we amputate a lot of stuff, but it's amputating something knowing that it'll grow back healthier or stronger or whatever. It's amputation knowing that there will be regrowth. So the loss is temporary. The loss is different. And when loss is temporary, it completely rewrites how we interact with and view the situation. When we know it's temporary. Now, when we believe it's temporary and it turns to be less temporary than we thought, more permanent than we thought, or it takes longer to regenerate than we thought, that's when we start running into issues. But this is interesting because it's the rainbow and the starfish. It was the rainbow and the star before. I zoomed in. I forgot. I don't have to be so close. But now it's the rainbow and the starfish. So before there were things that the earth was picking up because we weren't necessarily getting it, but now it's like we're getting it. And it's causing something probably from a very deep core internal part of us. It's causing it to like almost come online and oh, what was that? It was something. Was it the Holy Mountain with water and the sorcerer? It was an energy somewhere where it's like there were things that were going to be coming back or coming online, and it's going to like be bringing like power to circuits that had been down for a long time. Almost that liquid light. I think it was that liquid light that carves its way through night energy. I don't know what that means necessarily per se, but it is definitely kind of sort of like personal renaissance vibes, which is cute. So let's get into the Swans. I like to pull the first three. Excuse me. The Ten of Pentacles, the Son of Swords, the Lovers. So we got our first one. The Son of Swords, the Lovers, and the Tarantula. The Lovers, the real geese, the only geese that I have coming out almost immediately. Like it's the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles sits between whatever this regeneration is occurring and whatever it is that the geese are doing in the sky. Switching lanes. It's like it was the Ten of Pentacles and then the Son of Swords, the Lovers, and the Tarantula. So, I mean, top of the deck. Top of the deck is something that's like, it's not too subconscious. It's happening. It's more now, more easily identifiable. Um, where did this go? Where does this go? I'll set this here. So the tarantula, I kind of want to look at it in a different way. This is fire and air, which is interesting because I saw a fire air combo earlier. I don't remember what the combination was though. Like before I started this, and it was the zebra and the not the dragonfly. It was the zebra and something else. Air. I don't remember what the card was. Twitty from Twitty versing. Hello. Hello, Twitty. How are you? Ooh, just got water on my face. Yeah, well, so it was actually I think the week before last, or it might have been Monday. I was outside on my break and I could hear him, but I couldn't see him. I'm looking all over. One of my coworkers walked in, probably thought, oh, well, maybe he didn't think anything. But thank you. Um, I'm looking for the geese. I couldn't see him. And so then the next time I went out on break, I was looking and it took me a second, but I could find them. And then that's when they started like switching lanes, Ganunga gapping. First it was one, then it was three, marking these currents in the sky. And it's like, I feel like they were flying. If I look at the map, I think they were flying west. Hold on, wait. No, it's fine. I think they were flying. It was either east or west. Because I was like, aren't they supposed to be flying south? And I guess with time, when the clock was up and down, north, south, the clock stopped. But when it was laying down, which would be like the east, west, it worked. And when I put it back up, it stopped again. Don't ask me. So I already shuffled this deck. I'm going to pull before and after. I'm going to look from the bottom of the deck. Before and after the Son of Wands on this side. And then I'll get a Mystical Shaman Oracle card to clarify the Tarantula. This is interesting though, because hold up, let me stop. Ooh, look. The sun and the oh wow, look at this combination. Oh, okay. I was gonna say the sun and the star are together, and then I saw the sun, the star, and the moon, and then there is our Son of Swords in a very not great position. So the Son of Swords is in between the moon and the Three of Swords and the Six of Cups. Actually, so this energy is kind of beautiful. Mine, mine, mine. Because the sun and the star went into the sun, went into the moon. So now it's like the Son of Swords has gone through some kind of process where it feels like it healed to a certain degree to be able to face certain things to a deeper level. So it can actually venture further into the night with the moon card. And what it's going after is this Three of Swords. After the Three of Swords is the Six of Cups. So the Three of Swords and the Six of Cups, especially coming off of the star and the sun, it feels like there's an energy. It's almost like if there was something that has been a large hindrance in our lives for quite a while, it's like we've reached the point where we can go back and face it. And because we can go back and face it, it's this thing where it's like developmentally, sometimes we kind of stop whenever we experience certain traumas or whenever we experience certain setbacks or whenever we experience something that doesn't allow us to continue to blossom and unfold. And so it's almost like it's going back to that and coming like with this energy. It's like after it's healed, after it's faced, it allows us to grow in those areas that we've been stuck for so long. It allows us to open up to experiencing the better side of things, to experiencing probably what we dreamed of and what we desired, what we wished for with the star card. But it feels like it required something before we could do that. And that's what the Son of Swords is heading back to. And I was going to point that out. And I was going to set the cards down when I saw the star into the sun. And I was like, what? And then the moon, I was like, what? And then the Son of Swords was there. So I talked about it. But the Son of Swords, it's like it's heading away from the lover. Oops. The lovers. And it's going back to this regeneration. Like they're heading in this direction. This one is going in that direction. And it's interesting because that is almost an east-west before we can head back north. Because the tarantula is like crawling northward, but it's like we got to go back to get something. It's like west and south before we can go east and then north. Um, and so yeah, it's a gorgeous energy. I mean, it's gorgeous once you're in it, like or out of it. Once you're out of one part and moving into the next, it's gorgeous. Um, I think though it would serve us well to I saw strength. Oh yeah. Okay, anyway. I think it would serve us well to know that if you are going to go back to a past experience or if you are going to revisit something, maybe not the past, but it's just to like to remember all that you are and all that you've done now. Because I think sometimes when we get triggered by something or when we go back to the past, we almost revert back. And so it can be difficult to think on the past from a present standpoint. In that meaning, it's like a lot of times when we go back to the past, mentally we go back, emotionally we go back, and we feel as whatever as we felt in that moment. And we kind of lose everything that's happened since then. We kind of lose who we became and we go, "Ugh, ugh." One second. My throat is going out. Hey, Corey, how's it going? Ew, that did not help. When we go back to the past, it's like we go back to our past self in that position and we don't take who we are with us. And I think that's the moon in this, especially coming off of the star and the sun. It's like we have light to take back now. And it might have been light that we didn't have before. Also, the Three of Swords in this deck, especially in particular, for me, it's the space of, again, with this regenerative starfish energy, it's the space of all of the pathways that are blocked off because of hurt, pain, trauma, and darkness. And so it's like there are things down this corridor that might actually lead to where we want to go, but because we have to face what we have to face to get there. And I just saw this clip from Doctor Who. It was like, it's like fancying somebody who doesn't even know you exist because he put on this necklace. And she was like, it's like, I know you're there, but I can't focus on you. Uh, and it's like, it's an aversion because, who wants to experience, like, there are things that we try to forget for a reason. Um, but sometimes it's those very things that keep us from getting or maintaining holding what it is that we really want. And it's like, we can face it now. So lung butter, ugh, I have that is disgusting. Hey, Kizzy Cat, how you doing? Plateaus are simply a staging point for the next leg of the journey. mm, I am doing better. Today's my first day off in, I guess, 8 days. So oh, snap, you watched a short film about starfish today. Well, there you go. How synchronous. Tarantula. And so it feels like there is, I mean, I guess the easiest way to put it, glad to hear it. I guess the easiest way to put it is that, like, moving into the future, there are things that we need from the past or things that we need to clear up from the past. Because with that Three of Swords, the past would keep us from seeing it. And it's very towardness, I think. And I know I've heard Russ talk about it. It's like clearing up the shadows are the key to the future. It's like you got to clear through the briar of the past to see the future. Now, you don't like literally have to go back to it. It could be something that you just release, and it could be something that you've honestly released that you've already worked through that you don't even necessarily know that you have. And you may not necessarily realize it until you're presented with a situation or until you find yourself in a situation where you make a different choice. And you could be well on, like, you could be well down that new path before you even realize, like, oh my gosh, like, I'm doing stuff that I never would have done before because I was so insert reason here. Like, I didn't even realize that this was something that I had, like, moved past. And it's almost like when you're learning to ride the bike and the person lets go before they tell you that they let go, so you're actually riding it by yourself. And then if they're like, from a distance, like, you're doing a great job, and then you realize that they're not there, it's like the Acme, the old cartoons, like when they walk off the edge of a cliff, and it's not until they realize that they're not on solid ground that they fall. So, I mean, just keep walking, Peter, girl, you're doing it. Tarantula, though. Let's see, I'll pull this one. The Holy Mountain. That was at the bottom of the deck before. Okay. 25, the Holy Mountain, which is a 7. Hey, Steph, how are you doing? Excuse me. Oh, I feel like my eyes are like barely able to see today. It's fine. Maybe I need to clean. Yeah, I probably need to clean my glasses. That would probably help. So the Holy Mountain is coming out with the tarantula, which is interesting because tarantula holds a kind of subterranean energy. And there's a thing, I guess, if the tarantula is subterranean and if it has all of the vibratory um, sensory functions and capabilities as a regular spider or as a non-tarantula spider, then it's almost like the tarantula is able to feel the shift before it rises to the surface. And so this is interesting because if a whole holy mountain erupts from the ground, that's a lot. But I mean, honestly, elephant, six of swords, starfish kind of feels like a lot. It feels like the same, not magnitude. Well, I guess the mountain doesn't need to spring up as an entire mountain, but I'm doing well now that I've had a day off. Thank you for asking. Excuse me. It's like the spider can feel, and that's interesting because the geese were coming out with an energy of like, or I had the thought, like with them flying in the shape of the V, it's almost like they're pointing out these currents as they move through the sky. And I saw them like they were flying in one direction and then they switched directions. And I was like, okay. But I've actually been seeing a lot of birds do that within the past few months. It's like they'll all be going one way and then they'll come back. And it's like they're just like groups of birds like circling or something. The wolf spider, and we're about to have the wolf full moon tomorrow, question mark, which means that it's almost the lunar new year. New moon in Aquarius, it'll be here before you know it. So it's like there's this a shift and change above. Well, I guess as above, so below. And a shift and change below, but the shift and change below, it's like it's below the surface. Okay. Yes. Ooh, this is interesting. All right, I'm gonna keep going because I got all the court cards to do and the swan. The next card is the Father of Swords, which is interesting. So after the tarantula is the Father of Swords. I like the Father of Swords for this because the Father of Swords, it carries an energy of like, because this is an energy, the Son of Swords, the lovers, and the tarantula bringing the holy mountain or bringing up the holy mountain. It's like it causes or it allows for there's it's within the self. This is a self evolution, revolution, resolution, and it feels very Uranian, um, more than Plutonian. And I don't necessarily know why, but it's like with all of that stuff, or with more of that stuff in the past resolved, you're more free and more able to respond to things in the now moment. It's like you're less inhibited, you're less restricted. There's less of a filter that you put on yourself. And so the holy mountain is almost the magnitude of the power of your presence when it's not being limited, restricted, cut down, diminished by the Three of Swords. It's almost like it's who you are when you are free to go for it. And so with the Father of Swords, it's almost this energy. It's like it's almost like who you are in the world, who the next version incarnation of you, who that more restrict who that less that more unrestricted, less restrained version of you is, and how it's like your interactions with the world are completely different. And again, it's playing on that energy of like who we are in the absence of self-conflict. So the hour. Oof, oof. Nothing. The Goliath bird eater. That's enough spider information for me. I guess I could keep reading these out, but it's fine. Oh, this. Oh, see, look at that. Yeah, the spider and the Three of Swords. The panther was behind the Three of Swords before. This spider, it is cosmic interconnectedness. It's a cosmically interconnected energy. Or it I mean, yes, cosmic, but also self. Um, and it's almost like whenever a Three of Swords is pinged on the web, it leads to something. But it's like as we work through and as we walk further and further into these spaces that the Three of Swords would have us averse to in the past, it feels like it alerts something or it triggers something else somewhere else. Maybe in ways that we wouldn't even think. It's like ways that we wouldn't even think things are connected, but they very much are. And very fine, very delicate. If you're not, it's like so easy to miss. Spider soap thin. Ooh, that's interesting. The cosmic egg and the snake came out together. I'll just show it real quick. So the cosmic egg and the snake, it's almost like the snake and the cosmic egg is choking the egg a little bit. And as it releases its hold, it allows the egg to like hatch and unfold. I mean, it's incubating the egg, probably, if it's like sitting on it like that. So maybe it's just ready to hatch. Oh snap! And then there's the sea serpent. Can't wait to see more on that whenever that happens. Rhea. Ooh, the sea serpent is strength. Okay, the lion strength. All right, and then the butterfly and the lizard. Okay. So I feel like this is what happened last time. I feel like this is exactly what happened last time. The first card came out like not immediately. I don't think it came out as immediately as this, but like I ain't seen another swan yet. I mean, I guess I got this much deck left to go, but with the owls, it was like one owl came out and the rest of them were like behind the veil. Some of them like firm, like way beyond the veil, like deep in the veil. Ooh, the dragon and the phoenix are together. Hold up, wait. After strength. I like this little run of cards too. A $4 orange. Yeah, yeah. I can't wait to. I'm like, come on, Reem. Come on, Reemy. Strength, the dragon, the phoenix, and the four of swords. Like, I love how like fiery and strong this is up front, and how almost like cool and peaceful it is later. It feels like there's a honing of this fire. Or it's like, when you don't have anything to prove to somebody, um, or anybody, and you can just like be and not be so easily riled up, you know? It's like I don't have anything to prove to you. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and you can make a fool of yourself if you want to, or you can move on with your life as well. Where are all these swans at? Ooh, ooh. So the next one is the Son of Cups with the Empress. Maybe the deck is like geese are not swans, swans are not geese. And the Son of Pentacles. The Empress, the Son of Cups, and the Son of Pentacles. This energy is, I don't want to say it's easy. I feel like what this is most immediately about, it's kind of like so there's this rebirth of creative energies. You stuck an orange with a bunch of cloves yesterday. Wait. With the Empress. Oh, look, it's the same moon. Oh, it's the same moon. Just it's almost literally the energy of what I was saying with the Father of Swords. Um, but it's like so internally, as we work through these things internally, there's this renaissance, this blooming, this blossoming. There's a spectacle that is occurring within the dark that could be like within ourselves that hasn't yet been seen. Whatever is occurring that isn't yet seen. The Son of Pentacles, it's like it's bringing light to this, to it's like slowly expressing, it's bringing it into the world. If it's like if your expression is a novel, this is writing sitting down to write the pages in that novel before it goes through, editing, publishing, releasing, blah blah blah, before it's released. And it feels like, though, there is a lot of metering here. A lot of metering, a lot of measuring. It feels like there's a lot of caution, which as a human is understandable. A lot of times, even if we experience great changes within ourselves, we don't necessarily immediately go full force in the external world. Like, we don't necessarily immediately express everything. Sometimes we kind of like, it's a gradual process. Um, I mean, the Sign of Pentacles is the Knight of Pentacles, which is the slowest knight in the deck, but it's also like the most, I want to say the most efficient and the only one that's guaranteed to finish. The one who's most likely to finish. Um, but I feel like it's almost a synergy where it's like it doesn't necessarily, oh, look, there's the Daughter of Pentacles. The Daughter of Pentacles was before the Empress. See? No, it was the Daughter of Pentacles. I messed up. It was the Daughter of Pentacles and the Star. The Six of Swords did come out at some point, but now it's the Six of Swords and the Starfish. And it's almost like maybe the Daughter of Pentacles was so not in her head, but because it is Pentacles, there were things about the experience, her experience, that didn't allow her. It's like she couldn't really see how what she was getting played into her life. Because it's almost like, spirit is telling me one thing, but the world is telling me something completely different. And so, whatever she wasn't able to sort of reconcile, it went over to Pachamama in the giveaway. And then it's like the earth in its time, and earth time is probably the slowest time out of all of the elements. It doesn't necessarily have to be, because things can just occur. But usually those things were planted before, and then something happens that causes whatever. Anyway, it's like the earth will bring it up. But with the Six of Swords into the Starfish, it feels very like the swords are on the ground. It's like these are things that we've worked through mentally. There are problems, issues that aren't so mentally strenuous, or like they don't consume so much of our mental faculties, where we can't really like think of anything else or process anything else. It's like it's sorted through. So now we get to take on and absorb everything that kind of went over her head in a way. I thought it was the Six of Swords. It was the Daughter of Pentacles. Elsa, hey, how you doing? Wait, what? Oh, my nose. So yeah, it feels like it's supposed to be a slower process. Um, it feels like when we take our time with it. Oh, was that Ash? When Reem raked Ash and she used the Dreams of Gaia tarot, and that one card came out. I think it was the healing card. Was that Ash, or was it another room that she raked? Where it's like the energy flows where the energy needs to go, or something like that. It's almost because it's like if we're immediate with it, if we're too quick, then we might miss where our contributions are needed. It's almost like if you have a breakthrough and you try to change everything, rather than like seeing what it's what is for you to do. And it's like it's not that you can't do other things or that you shouldn't necessarily. It just feels like your energy, your time, your effort is better spent in some places rather than others. And it's allowing life and allowing the universe the opportunity to almost put you in a situation where you'll thrive because it's like it's where you're needed. And it's like that, but it's not like that, if that makes any sense. Because like you still have choice and you can still do what you want. And it's not that you won't have any impact and it's not for you to wait, but it feels like as it unfolds, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Like you're starting with the seed that will be this under the sun or in the daytime. It's like it'll be in the day what it is now in the night. It'll be externally what it is internally, but it's to allow things the time it takes. So, oh wait, hold up. Excuse me. Let me put this back in the deck. I'm gonna put the Son of Swords back in the deck randomly, even though it already came out because I only need the card before and after. It'll keep more cards in the deck, so it hopefully takes a little bit longer until I run into that. I already pulled this card as a clarifier, so Mighty Oak. Ooh, I had a dream. Oh, oh. Anyway, it's fine. Eh. So I'm gonna look for the Empress and the Son of Pentacles. Oh. Look at this. Look where the Empress is. Oh, I love this. And I love that it's in this deck. The Empress is between the Six of Swords and Justice. But in this deck, Justice has color where it was black and white before. Love that. Love that. And I'm going to put the Empress back. Um, yeah, it was this deck. I was like, was the sun? Wait. Was the sun and the star? Yeah, they were. Because it was the star, the sun, the moon. Yeah, it was in this little deck. Okay. Who am I looking for? The Son of Pentacles. I'm trying not to be on here too long. The Son of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck. Okay, look, this is where the Son of Pentacles is. Look how many cards I have left. So we did have to go deeper into the combined deck to find this. So I guess it shouldn't be a surprise if some of the energy that comes out is so for sake of the tarantula subterranean. Um, but the Son of Pentacles is coming out between the Daughter of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. And that's all happening at night or in the dark. But the wheel is turning it into the light. And the bottom of all these cards, it's light. That's where the light is. So it's like as the Wheel of Fortune turns, it brings everything into the light, which is interesting. So again, I'm gonna leave the Son of Sword or Son of Pentacles where it is, and I'm gonna pull the Wheel of Fortune and the Daughter of Swords. A carrot. Oh, okay. I thought you were like talking about a literal carrot. It's like it's fine. Oh, snap. Hold up. Oh, that's the world. I didn't even notice that they have the world between their tails now. I thought it was the orb from the high priestess for a second. Maybe it is. So the Six of Swords and Justice are coming out to clarify the Empress. It feels like it's about understanding your power, honestly. Maybe it's about like learning responsibility. Maybe more than learning responsibility and understanding your power, it's about learning to care for and nurture and to give your time and energy to what is worth your time, energy, caring, and nurture. Because there are some things it's like no matter how much you tend to them, they'll never grow if that's not where they are. And it reminds me, it was Amanda a while ago, Anam Messages, where she had a video. It was like, if you love someone and if you believe that, there is a force of good and of love, then it's like those things will find them in their time. It's not for us to rush anyone else's process. And if we did, and if we could rush someone else's process, it's like rushing somebody through school just to get them to the next grade. They don't really learn anything. They may not necessarily retain the information that they learned, and they may not know where and when and how that applies. With the Son of Pentacles, it's like there's something to that process of when we take the time to go through it. And as we learn more and as we apply more, we learn more, we apply more, we learn more, we apply more. The wheel shifts more and more and more every time until we can be in some way. It's like we can be in the light and less dependent on something or someone else for guidance because we learn us. And it's not that like we'll never need help, and it's not that we're necessarily intended to or designed to ever feels like knowing through nurture. Ooh. It's not that we're like designed to be completely self-sufficient in a way where we're not dependent on other people. And it's not depending on other people in terms of like codependence, but it's like if there are trusty and reliable mechanics and trusty and reliable plumbers and electricians and doctors, then it's like, you don't necessarily need to know everything about everything. And it's like that's sort of the level of interconnectedness that allows larger systems a certain abundance, flow, fluidity. And I think a large part, and that's what like, and she's still right here at the bottom of this deck where everything goes over the Daughter of Pentacles' head. It's like because a lot of times in our experience, we know that certain people are like undervalued and underpaid and underappreciated. It's like it's because we treat and have historically treated people a certain type of way that we have the views on the working of things that we do. It's like if janitorial staff and wait staff were appreciated, then I feel like it wouldn't be sort of like not frowned down upon, but it's like I feel like I feel like y'all know without me saying it. Um, but it just feels like there's this energy of like because things have been treated and viewed and seen the ways that they've been treated and viewed and seen, in our lives and for who knows how long, we kind of get these ideas of systems overall. And it's like in a world where everyone is valued, appreciated, respected, and, like given opportunity, there are people who can be in those roles. Some people might even enjoy it. And with that respect, it's like everything functions. And it's like nowadays, because and it's like, you'll see on well, I've seen on the internet, like not necessarily memes, but it's like for all of the jobs that we told people, like, get an education, get a real job. If you're not sat like if you want more money, do something else. Now that people have started to do other things and wait times are longer and nobody's working in certain industries, it's like, well, now I can't go to the restaurant and get that food I like. Well, the way you treated the wait staff when you told them if they wanted to be treated with decency and respect to get a different job, now you don't have a restaurant to eat at. You know, in a way, it's like if the respect was there, if all of the things that they needed to like live and survive were there, then they could keep doing it comfortably. You can keep going to the restaurant you like, the wait times wouldn't be as bad, their lives wouldn't be as like necessarily hectic and stressful if they had like bills to pay and that job wasn't doing enough because you weren't tipping the people, because you were causing the whole thing and don't nobody want to work or serve you because you're and I think even when it comes to the word serve sometimes, it's because of our interactions and because of how we view interactions between like people being served and people serving those people and how those power dynamics play out. It's like we have this whole connotation on the word that doesn't even necessarily have to be there. And so what it does is it feels like there are certain concepts with this daughter of pentacles. It feels like there are certain concepts that kind of like we out on, or we put some kind of filter on because of our pentacle experience with it. And it's like with the six of swords and justice, it's like the experience that we had weren't even necessarily true to the beauty of what that experience could be. So although the three of swords originally came out with this like very personally like traumatic painful energy, more broadly it's just that like because we've interacted with each other and because we've interacted with certain theologies even and spiritual belief systems even and religions even, and because people who claim to be and people who fall under and into those theologies, religions, beliefs, or whatever have taken the actions that they've taken, we form the opinions and views on that thing as a whole. And it almost that came out in the star no in the Dolly tarot when I was unboxing it and I just could not. I was like, I don't know if I like this energy because it went to, how the swastika was a holy symbol and it was used for something that was far from it. And then it's like what that symbol originally meant, it's now been left with this almost indelible mark. And it's no longer what it was. And it reminds me, it's like the argument Stephen Hawking was like, if aliens ever came to Earth, it would be very much like what happened to the Native Americans when Columbus came to America, to North America, to the US or wherever, right? And it's like because that was our experience, and because historically we've seen a lot of whenever a new people discover a people, they wipe them out. They take their resources. It frames our whole global universal framework of how events occur. And it's like, but they don't have to happen that way. And devil energy isn't here, but because our minds work the way that they work, literally, it's like if devil energy knew just as much about your life as divine energy knew about your life. All devil energy would have to do, because humans are humans, was to early in your life give you a specific experience that would make you so averse to the thing that you never find it because it's so painful, it's so traumatic, you don't want to go there, and then you sacrifice the whole thing. Our knowing is limited, and it's based upon more often than not what we experience. And it doesn't even have to be devil energy. It could be somebody who knows more than you do. And all they have to do about like a certain person, it could be a person. And it's like that they know that that person likes you and they like that person and they know that you like that person. But in order to keep you two from being together, it's like they're gonna feed you information about that person that to make you not like that other person, and then you don't even give that person a chance. Like you can scale that up or down. You can take it any way in any direction. And this energy, it's about almost in a way rediscovering, especially with a new mind in both of these. It's approaching it from not necessarily a neutral, but it's like, maybe, yeah, approaching it from a neutral perspective to allow it to unfold into what it is. And then we may see better, healthier ways to go about certain things. And even when it comes to, I feels like when it comes to the veil itself, it's like there are certain things because of our human experiences that we can't believe. There are certain truths about certain people that we can't believe. Or there are certain, and again, it's like it ranges in severity, right? Obviously, or not obviously, but like it is worth mentioning that depending on the severity of an event or a situation or what a person has done, then it's like, it's understandable that our capacity to extend compassion and understanding be limited. But it's just like, again, with that Three of Swords energy, it's like if you're not in a position to see a greater truth because of either some stories that you've been told or whatever, then you won't see it. And it's like it's a veil that exists semi intentionally, like where we veil ourselves off from the truth because for whatever reason, because we can't see it. And I was talking to Reem the other night, and that kind of sort of came up. It's like, the more truth that we're able to see within self, and the more we dive into self, the more truth we're able to see outside of ourselves. And if there are things within ourself that we can't explore or experience or see beyond in because of those Three of Swords dark corridors, then outside of ourselves, it causes a very similar sort of block. And I had a dream the other night, and I was thinking about like high priestess energy because it's like I had a dream one night, and then 2 days later, I had a conversation with somebody. And I was like, oh, that dream I had could have meant this. But it's like there are things that I didn't even know. And so even in a dream, even in a space of like, if I extrapolate this, and I'm not projecting my own limitations onto anybody else. So let me say within my mind and how I process my life and universe, it's like there are things that I don't even know that I don't know. And so when I encounter a dream or a vision or anything from the high priestess, again, it's like if I don't have the vocabulary, the imagery, the experiences for the high priestess to show me, to get me to more clearly and directly see what it is that's trying to be communicated, it'll be like what I have and what I do know. But there comes a time, and that's when I was thinking, it was like, well, how do I see things? How do I receive things that I don't have enough? conjectural. I don't even know. I don't even know if I'm using that word right. Like, if I don't have enough conjectural experience, knowledge, vocabulary to like get it to be shown as it is. I mean, I never landed on anything, but I feel like that's kind of coming in here in a way where it's like it makes communication with us difficult because we are so fixed in what it is that we've already experienced. And it's something that because I am who I am and other people are who they are, it's something that I've been able to see and experience. And it's like, you can have an opinion on something and someone has a completely different opinion. And because of that, you see it two completely different ways. So, what would be beautiful for you could be very much the opposite for someone else. And it's another reason why sometimes it's like, we get information, signs, synchronicities, channelings, downloads, whatever, in the way that we get them because of our experiences with them. And if we try to take that to someone else who has a very different experience or who has a colored experience, then they're going to give us that through their experience. And so it's like there comes a point where we almost need to be able to detach from the experience to see something as it truly is. It's like we have to take the pinnacle out of it. We have to take earth out of it. We have to take our experiences out of it in order to allow it to truly color things in the way it's supposed to. And with Empress energy going back to us, it's like that's part of why the Son of Pentacles and the Daughter of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune is like that's why it's an intentionally like unfolding sort of process. And it's almost like there's a knowing that sometimes to crack earth or to break earth unless you have like an earthquake or a volcano. And I did see the tower in here somewhere. Where was that tower? The tower was like, here it is. It was literally right after that Four of Swords. So the strength, the dragon, the phoenix, and the Four of Swords, like the tower was literally right after it. It's like there's a certain willingness and a certain openness that we can take into a situation where an entire tower moment doesn't have to happen. And then it's this process of how the world interacts with this new truth or beginning to see the world through the eyes and the lens of this new truth to begin to allow things that we maybe didn't even know to allow before, maybe we were incapable of allowing before. But again, it's like it gets us to see more, and it feels like we can do a lot with what we already have. It's just that we see things the way we've seen them because of how everything's played out. And it's like, for me personally, in my own life, I would never want to allow, well, I say never, but um, rarely. I would love to be in a position where I could be like, I don't want to allow, well, I don't want to allow my past experiences to color my future in a way where I miss out on the most beautiful things in life. Going back to the briars that block the future and that towardness, right? And it's like that's what happens when we allow experience to filter so much of what we receive and what we dream and what we envision. Whew. Anyway, that was a lot. Yeah. And I feel like, in a way, so much is geared towards like making us completely self-sufficient, self-reliant. I don't need anybody to become islands. And it's almost like we miss out on the beauty of a truly collective. We miss out on a world where it's like we can be personally fulfilled and enjoy our lives, and we can allow others to be personally fulfilled and enjoy their lives, and we find a harmony in that. Because for every job that someone doesn't want, there is someone who actually wants that, or someone who at the very least like wouldn't mind it. You know what I mean? Or someone at the very least who would like allow that to be a transition if that's a space of transition for them. I don't know. Let's continue. That's only the second one. Oh my gosh. I want to just end it there. And look, here's the full card. Here's the full card after all that. So yeah, it's new. It's going to be new. And I know a lot of us say that we want new, but to actually be in a position to experience new and to be in a position to allow new, it requires a lot. And depending on how much new you're pumping out into the universe in your manifestations, affirmations, or whatever, it's like, don't be surprised if you then encounter very, very, very dark, challenging, and difficult experiences. Because if those are the very things that keep you from being where you want to be and who you want to be and with, all of the things that you want, it's like, well, if these are the barriers to entry, then these are the things you're going to have to work through. And again, it's that energy of like when we manifest certain things, I don't think we always know or understand what those manifestations come with. Like for everything that I wanted from myself, I know that I like I didn't even have a future. So there had to be a lot of things that were extremely difficult that I would have had to work through just to be where I am now. And it's not necessarily I feel like it's not really a trick or anything. It's like, well, if you knew what you're asking for, then you would have also known that this is a part of it, right? Like sometimes if you want a pickle, you'll get a cucumber and some brine, and you'll have to put the cucumber in the brine and let it pickle. I don't know. Anyway. Ooh, look at this. So the daughter of swords just came out with a whale. I don't know. That was interesting because I literally just saw her. Let's continue. Why are these cards so? I feel like this is how the owls played out. Like one of them came out early, the rest of them were beyond the veil, like deep. Like this is how much of the deck I've seen now. This is how much of the deck I have left. I still got the swan, the daughter, the mother, and the father of cups. So they deep in here. Oh my gosh. They might all be together. Okay. So the swan is between two animals. I saw the rabbit earlier today. I feel like I've been seeing the rabbit a lot. And I'm like, what does this rabbit mean? So the rabbit is with the swan and the elk. This is interesting because we have another elk figure coming out next to a swan or a bird of interest. Last time it was the Son of Pentacles with the Son of Cups. And it's on the same side. The elk is on the same side as the Son of Pentacles. Um, the rabbit is on the side of the Empress. So, rabbits being fertility and abundance and things like that. But, and this is what I was thinking about before because I keep seeing that rabbit. Rabbit is fertility and abundance out of necessity. It's fertility and abundance because of the pressure of predators. And it's like if rabbits don't want to go extinct, then they have to breed like crazy. And so I kind of actually love how this is. I feel like the rabbit here on the side of the Empress, it almost highlights and illuminates the truth of why a lot of people seek abundance. And we're alive, we live lives, and life is challenging and hard and difficult, but it's like it's Empress energy because it feels like there's some kind of threat. It's an Empress energy because it's like it feels a subjugation. It feels subjugated, it feels repressed, it feels tossed aside, it feels discarded, it feels left out. And so it seeks its own empowerment in direct opposition to those things. It's like it doesn't seek self empowerment necessarily. It does sometimes and it doesn't other times. It's like it doesn't seek self empowerment for the sake of like feeling, I don't want to say for feeling more whole because it does, but it's like in direct opposition again to everything else. It's like this is a world that rejected me. This is a world where I felt black sheep. I felt left out. I never found that I fit in society. So I'm going to curse all of that, find latch on to whatever gets me out of all of that, and that's where I'm going to put all of my everything into. And again, it's almost like instead of it being resonance to a core truth within the self, it's resonance to a sort of escapism because of again the three of swords. And I know like it's hard, it's difficult. I know that like I feel like some of the things that I talk about. So I'm blaming my North Node in Sagittarius. My North Node is in Sagittarius, so I'm supposed to just say it. But I know that, like as we live life, there are a lot of heavy emotions and a lot of experiences that come attached to some of these things. And depending on the level of severity, those are traumas that can run like very deep. Um, and so I don't want to be dismissive of any of that. But again, it's like that's where a lot of that Empress abundance, a lot of that desire stems from. And there's something with the swan, especially, it's like that's the truth. It's like we try to project this image up here, but like this is the truth of it. The truth of it is hurt and pain. And it feels like it becomes so central that it almost overrides the desire. And that's something that it came out recently. I feel like, yeah, it was because it was almost like a tip of the iceberg situation. And I was talking about the conscious and the subconscious mind. And because of the three of swords energy, there are certain things that we can't face within ourselves. So it's almost like at a certain point, the conversation actually shifts. And because we're not a part of the conversation, because I remember being like when we're speaking something, but we can't hear what we're saying. And so when we experience something, and again, it's like many things are true, right? So it's not completely always the case that we're manifesting experiences that we don't want. Sometimes things just happen. But it's almost like there are times when we go for certain situations because of things that are yet unexplored within ourselves. And it's that energy of like when we stop being a part of the conversation again because of the things that we don't face within self, that it feels like our desires are overridden. It's like you're telling me that you want this, but what you're really saying is it's like for some people, and I've talked about that before, It's like it's fine. I don't have to go all the way into it. I got to get two mystical shaman cards, and if they come out, they'll come out. Um, what was the title for Sagittarius? Your daughter is just glad you're not the cat lady. Completed journey of the broken heart. Oh wow, it might be. It probably is. And see, that was the thing about, and I'm not an astrology person. I know a little bit about astrology. I used to be more into it than I am now. But it feels like the nodal cycle started cardinal. When North Node was in Cancer, South Node was in Capricorn. That was the time where we look at our foundations and we look at our heart, where we look at ourselves, we look at the world, we look at how the world impacts and shapes us, and we look at how we show up in the world. And then as it moved into Sagittarius, Gemini mutable, it's like it feels like at first it was just the observation. Sagittarius, Gemini was we're like we start to be able to make changes. We start to be able to like theory craft and hypothesize and to do things to test those hypotheses or not. And then as it shifts into Cancer, as it shifts into Taurus, Scorpio, it becomes fixed. And it's like these are all of the things that we've gotten to see, experience, work through, feel within the past, what, 3 years or 18, yeah, 36, 18 months, a year and a half, roughly, in the past 3 years. And it's like now we get to put it into play to actually sort of solidify a foundation and to really begin to experience what it is that we want to experience. Potentially, or not. Sun, Earth, Acid. Wait. Cap Cancer. Oof. I have Mars on my north. My Mars is in Cancer. Hold up, wait. Oh, my moon. So the North Node is gonna hit my moon because I have a late Taurus moon, and then it's gonna hit my rising because I have an early Taurus rising. And right now, Uranus is in between my rising and my moon. And so, like, Uranus was on my rising as I had an anti-node year. Like my North Node is in Sagittarius, and the South Node was in Sagittarius. And then I got Uranus on my ascendant. Like, anyway. So, the rabbit. And maybe that's the difference here, honestly, though, between the rabbit and the elk. And it's because the elk carries an energy of protection, especially in the Awas, elks, in the elk's rune. It carries an energy of protection. So it's an abundance that thrives for abundance sake. And it's an abundance that thrives for the sake of like personal fulfillment, joy, it like just like flowing with the magic of life. This is an abundance that we call upon because we're afraid of something or because there's something that we don't want to experience. So even if we encounter abundance, even if we encounter joy, peace, fulfillment, movement, the fear is still lingering there. This one is less afraid, it's less, and it might just be, it may be more of a timing thing, it may be more of a personal thing. Almost. Okay, anyway. Hey, Taurus Moon Squad. Yeah, and then like my Uranus is conjunct my Neptune in Capricorn. So I'm having like it's not exactly trine right now, but it'll be like a Uranus trine, Uranus trine, Uranus on my moon. I'm like, okay. Like I've been wanting a massive shift in my personal life, and I've been working towards it since from what the past, well, January 2019 is when I specifically started to change everything. So I guess it has been the past 3 years. I had my darkest night October 2018. November 4th, 2018 was like when I got my first deck, and I started like meditating. January when I was like, okay, like we're gonna do this. So, oh, the ancient ones came out first, but it landed on the elk. So I'm gonna take that one there. What's coming out for the rabbit? I'll give this 2 shuffles. If nothing comes out, then the rabbit doesn't get anything. Okay. Oh, well, it didn't come all the way out, so I'm not gonna take it. The ghost dance is at the bottom of the deck for the rabbit. The sorcerer, like it did that thing where it kind of like came out like that, but as I kept shuffling, it like flipped back in. The sorcerer and the ghost dance, it's literally the energy of recreating the past. And it's like, you can blame. We can blame everyone and everything around us, but at a certain point, to a certain degree, we participate. And it's easier. It's easier to blame other people. It's also easier. See, it feels like there's this dichotomy where it's like it's really easy to blame everyone and everything else. It's also easy to blame yourself completely. And it's like, sometimes we fall into like, oh, everything is my fault. It must be because I'm this, I'm that, I'm blah, 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 whatever. Or it's like, well, it's everybody else. They're doing this, they're doing that, they're not, blah, 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 whatever. But in reality, it's like a mixture of the two. And that's where it's that like dolphin, this and that are true. That's where it's this like with justice and the Six of Swords and the world and the Daughter of Swords, it's like, and that Empress into the Knight of Pentacles, it's like where we find that balance of like what is us, what is not us, what is ours, what is not ours, where we find our place in the world and we find the world's place in us. I feel like it's not completely one or the other, and it's the space of things that are difficult, right? But I don't know if certain things, it's like it's not necessarily meant to be easy up front, but on the back end after you come into that Phoenix Four of Swords piece, you know? This is so interesting because the wolf came out with the wolf came out deep in the veil when I went through the owls, the watchers. And it feels like the wolf was just like there. Feels like the wolf was just like there and waiting. I'm like, okay, but like, what are you waiting for? Maybe the wolf was waiting for you. I don't know. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that Tom Petty, let's go. Has the Taurus? I don't think Taurus has posted yet for the Tom Petty series. I think Pisces did. I'm pretty sure I watched it. But also, I've worked so much, I don't have a memory. But yeah. Amanda! Hey, Amanda. I haven't gotten to see your videos yet. I got a notification that you went live the other day, but I was at work. I've been working like sometimes 9, some mostly 10, rarely 11-hour days. And I'm like, work was fun at first. It was cute. I was like, I'm doing that muggle thing. I'm going to work. And then after that, I'm like, you know what? I'm just tired. I don't necessarily mind it. I've just been tired. How are you, Amanda? I've missed you too. I can't wait to Taurus is on the 18th. Oh gee, I would hate for that Taurus video to accidentally post early. Didn't that happen before? Like I think it was a Taurus video, wasn't it? Like it accidentally posted early and it was like from the next series. um but yeah, I'm gonna have to catch it. I hope you've been well. Um yeah. Oh, that's beautiful, Twitty. I'm so glad that you had the awareness and the ability to like do what you needed. Because I think sometimes it's like we know that we're in a space of need, but we keep pushing ourselves anyway, and we run ourselves absolutely ragged. Um, so I'm so glad you were able to do that. Um, it happened with cancer this time. Really? It posted at midnight instead of 8 a.m. Wait, you post at 8? Because sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I just want to put something on, and I'll see like the latest video from Everlong Mystic. Oh snap! Oh snap! He must have made it home. I bet you he on that PlayStation. I was just thinking about him. Eve is dedicated. She wakes up at 5 a.m. just to get those videos uploaded and posted because nobody else is on the internet and it goes a little faster at that time. She said, I don't know what the ancient ones, with the wolf here and the ancient ones on top of the elk. This is interesting though, because right now, all of the swans and the geese, they're all facing the same direction, right? Facing the same direction, heading in the same direction. The elk is looking in the direction of the Son of Swords. Oh, I put the elk back. Oops. And the Son of Pentacles was looking in the same direction. And the rabbit is looking in the direction of the birds. But it feels like for rabbit energy, it's almost premature. It's not necessarily premature, but it's like when Rob says that, excuse me, sometimes with the Six of Swords, if we're too quick to move on, we move on with baggage. That's rabbit energy. It's like it is an energy of prosperity and abundance, but it's like also an energy of a lot of baggage. Again, it's like that's why rabbits breed like rabbits because everybody's eating them. Um, and so it's almost like if the rabbit were ever in a situation where there wasn't a predator, then its own tendencies, it's like the way it's become, the way it became, the way it evolved because of the predatory situations it was in, it would lead to behaviors that are actually self-detrimental. Because you can't breed like rabbits if there aren't any predators to eat other rabbits. I mean, it is a little lack consciousness, but it's like if you are exponentially breeding, it's going to strain and stress your resources very quickly. And it's not to be in that necessarily, but it is like when we come out of certain situations, it's almost like that's why the change in behavior is important. And it's not necessarily about the change in behavior as the behavior, it's the change in behavior as the mind. Is the mind still in the space of like being prey to some predator? Because that's what can kind of sort of run counter current to things. You know what I mean? And the interesting thing about deer and bucks, I don't know if the same is true for elks. I think it might be. It's like they actually shed their antlers, right? They shed their horns. And so I think some of them might not. Or is that moose? Meese? Is it meese that grow their antlers and they just get like super big? But it's like this is something that the elk can let go of because the elk knows that it'll grow back. And it feels like the rabbit wouldn't be able to do that. The rabbit wouldn't be able to let go because it's so afraid. It's like, well, what if this happens? Like, what if I let go and then this other thing happens? And it's like, if that's where your thought goes, It's not necessary. Like, there's a truth in that. It is realistic to be like, if I'm taking a dip in income, or if I'm going somewhere where I'm not necessarily as familiar and I'm not going to know anybody, then like I can expect a change in my life, right? That's one thing. But to like kind of sort of go off the deep end of like, well, what if like I can't do this and I can't do that, and all of these fears come back, and if those fears keep you in a situation that it's for you to move on from, then it's like that's where things get a little muddied. That's where the veil kind of starts to come down. And the veil comes down because there are things that we know that it's for us to let go of and to move on from, but we can't. So we carry it with us. And then the vision gets muddied almost because like there are things that we were supposed to let go of that we haven't. And we're not as free to be who and where we are and want because of that. And again, it's like it goes back to the Three of Swords. I just like Meese. Okay, it's a guilty pleasure. Hmm. I love the word Meese. And the ancient ones is sitting on top of the elk. And maybe the ancient ones, the only, yeah, see, Meese and Geese. That's exactly. Um, there's a part of me that's like, I don't know what the ancient ones are super, 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 super specifically, but it feels like when we're in the space of being able to let go, it's the veil that drops on the rabbit. It's almost the same veil that's lifted for the elk. And it's like it allows the energy of the universe through the space of the ancient ones to come in, and it's like it allows for like miracles and synchronicities. Again, it's like because it's spaces that we know that we're being guided to. I remember early 2020 there were so many people who were like, I don't know what to do, like spirit's gone quiet, like what do I do, what do I do? And it's like when I talked to those people, they knew exactly what it was that they needed to do. Every single person who was lost knew it was outside of the comfort zone, but they knew. It's like, and that's a difference. There's a difference between not knowing and being lost because you genuinely don't know and because you're lost, and not knowing and being lost because you know, but you won't do because you're afraid, because you think that things have to be done a certain way to get a certain outcome. It's like there's a difference. I guess the truth is like you're not getting information and guidance on how to get what you want and where you want while still carrying the things that you're carrying. It's like it's almost like those two things can't simultaneously exist. But again, it's like I feel like you can't necessarily manifest freedom and liberation, but at the same time want to be um enchained by the past. It's like they're two conflicting things in a way. And so we kind of sort of stall out a little bit. But and again, it's like thank you, Amanda. Some of it is like it's because of things that I had to work through. And like I've always been fairly self-aware. Like there were things I like whenever I was operating out of fear, I knew it. And I was honest with myself about it. I didn't lie to myself and try to make it about anything else. It's like, yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm not taking that opportunity. I'm not even going to work through this. I'm going to continue to be a depressed, miserable mess because I'm afraid and I want to be. It's easier to be afraid than it is for me to face the things that I need to face. And so I'll continue to distract myself. I'll continue to do everything that I know isn't going to help me. And I'll continue to try. I'll continue to butt my head up against the wall, you know, knowing that I'm not going to get anywhere, but I'm going to try. Um And it just feels like with the ancient ones and the elk, it's like again, it allows it's like there's room. There's room for the divine, and there's room for magic, and there's room for synchronicity, and there's room for the beauty that is the miracle of life to come in and to show itself in very real ways that again, it's like the rabbit, because of its fear, it just does not allow. And so maybe there will be a certain again, it's like maybe there will be an energy of abundance, or maybe there will be an influx, maybe there will be an increase, maybe there will be some movement, but it feels like the past will come back. The fear will come back for the rabbit. And then that's sometimes where like we can fall into patterns of self-sabotage and stuff like that. Or we can fall into patterns of unworthiness. And again, it's like I would hate for somebody to begin to experience or to find themselves living the life that they dream of to feel unworthy or to feel undeserving and to choose to walk away from it. But it's your life. You can do whatever you want to do, right? So, who's next? Oh, sorry. I guess I'll take both of them. I just saw the Father of Cups and I kept going. I just kept going. Oh, okay. This is cute. So, shout out to Remy. Here's the gazelle. There's the unicorn. Oops. Come on. The gazelle and the unicorn. I was like, oh, it's Remy, and maybe that's why I blew over the Father of Cups because I was like, oh, that's the Remy card. So the Father of Cups is in between the unicorn and the Ten of Wands, and then the peacock is on the other side of the Ten of Wands. So I'm gonna take both of these because I accidentally got to the peacock before I was like, oh snap, I passed over the Father of Wands. Um, and it's interesting on this row, both the peacock and the unicorn are facing the same direction. But the Father of Cups, just like all the other geese, I think the Daughter of Cups and the Mother of Cups may be the only ones that'll face the other direction. I know the Mother of Cups will. I can't remember if the Daughter of Cups will or not. But it's like they're both looking in this direction and the goose is looking here. I'm gonna pull up the entry for the Ten of Wands and the Pride Tarot because that's so perfectly what the Ten of Wands and the Peacock is. So I'm just gonna read the if I can find it. One moment, please. Oh, I was like, what? Hold up, wait. I'm like, what am I doing? But that one time I went through the zodiac, Taurus's reading was rough. And Taurus's reading was rough because it was like if there's something that you're supposed to be doing, like do it now. Do it before it becomes an even bigger problem or like before you have even more to lose or whatever. And it's like it was more like it's not gonna be any easier later. And it's almost like there's gonna be even more on the line later. Um, not to like play in any kind of like fear or whatever, but I genuinely think sometimes there are things that are for us that we let go. And it's not that they won't come back ever, but it's almost like if you can have it now, why not? Or maybe that's just my thinking. I'm like, if I can have it now, I'd rather have it now, work through what I need to work through. Because the universe, I found it's pretty good at presenting you with whatever challenge you're going to need to face to move into the next thing. And the more I've tried to face challenges as they arise and enjoy life in between, um, eventually, I mean, it it worked for me. Won't necessarily work for everybody because we're all different. So, The Ten of Wands and the Pride Tarot. This is the card by Dr. Frankie Dolan. That's the card um and the message says this Ten of Wands card shows a man who has lived a life of banishment and pain. People scorned him for being blessed with the balance of male, female, young, and old qualities. Dreaming, hoping, and searching, he journeyed to the highest mountains, to the realm of the gods. The holy mountain is here on the same side. Oh, wow. I literally just realized that. So in this row, the only um mystical shaman oracle cards, it's the holy mountain and the ancient ones. So that's interesting. The holy mountain and the ancient ones. Anyway, back to this. He journeyed to the highest mountains, to the realm of the gods, to ask them why he had to suffer. The gods placed a crown made of 10 wands upon his head. They kissed his mind with truth, and he saw that the gods always choose strong and beautiful souls to suffer, for those are the people with the power to withstand it. Through his ordeal, the man gained wisdom. He realized that he needed to live through his suffering in order to help others with theirs. This man turned his burdens into blessings. Now he looks back as he faces forward, feeling the miracles of his life. The divine meeting is take your greatest burdens and turn them into your greatest blessings. Now, some of that, like, I'm not necessarily the first or even necessarily the second to subscribe to or to want to believe that you're suffering because the divine knows that you can take it. Because I'm like, okay, well, just because I can endure suffering, I feel doesn't mean I necessarily should endure suffering. But the Ten of Wands is, and I saw it recently, by recently, like 2 years ago, maybe now, almost a year and a half ago, that like just like the Six of Swords and the Eight of Cups, the Ten of Wands, it is a spiritual journey card, but it's one with it's like great burden, and it's almost like with great power comes great responsibility. But the point is, it's like it feels like there are things that they're not meant to like take you out. They're not meant to be forever. And I just read that it was the Ten of Wands and the Eight of Swords when I went through and I got the Lion Strider mini tarot and the little golden tarot reverie or whatever. And it was like part of the journey. It's like we're not always supposed to be overburdened and in pain and whatever. We're not always supposed to be rabbit three of sword energy. But it does come a point in time where we kind of have to be the ones to bear it and move forward. And then in that process, it almost feels like we leave a wand behind, right? Almost very what's the word for an explorer who goes into like uncharted territory? Trailblazer. It's very trailblazer energy. And it's like along your journey, you pick up the 10 wands and whatever time you pick up the 10 wands. For a lot of people, it's early in life. But after a certain point through your journey of healing, it's like the more you heal, you leave a wand. And so it's like in your healing, in your journey, you actually maybe energetically, yeah, it zoomed in like up here. Sorry. Like there, but now you can't. Let's see. There we go. There we go. All right. um it's like sometimes literally, sometimes more subtly. It's like as we work through things, it actually makes it easier for other people to work through things. Maybe we energetically blaze trails by that liquid light that carves its way through night by like in the collective. It's like creating it's very golden doorway. It's exits by creating exits out of labyrinth, maze, whatever's. And it's just like how, the collective mind sometimes you'll see different people like separated by hundreds and thousands of miles come up with the same idea around the same time. It's almost like that. And it's like, how one day maybe you just wake up with an epiphany or a realization, or you're just like, today's the day that I face the things I need to face and I turn my life around. It's like we don't know how we affect and impact the world. And like there are people who maybe have impacted you. Like I saw this video, I think it was a TED talk maybe about lollipop moments. Like there could be people in your life that you've encountered that maybe they had an impact on you and you didn't tell them how big that impact was. And like so too, it's like there could be people that you've impacted, and like if they don't tell you, then you don't know. Like maybe you said hi to somebody in passing one day and they were having a really rough day. Oh, emotions. No, I've gotten so far with no emotion. Um, and it's like just you saying hi and acknowledging their presence and making them feel seen on that day was enough. And then it's like because they were there that day, oh my gosh, oh, I feel them. It's like that's one more day that they didn't necessarily know that they would make it through. And then because they make it through that day, then they make it through another day. It's like they reach that point in their life where things start to turn around. And it's because you said something in passing that you might not even remember. And it's like that's how we can have impacts on like the physical level, but it feels like even energetically, even in ways where we're separated by great distances through the great spider web of the connective whatever experience, we can have those same impacts. And so it's like that's the other side of the Ten of Wands. And then it's like again, and even with the peacock, there's something in the peacock that's very hold up. I want to read it. If I can grab the book. Oh, it's right here. Thank you. Because Kim said it best. Oh. Oh. I can't remember. I think yellow was air. Yes, it was. I'm going to read the peacock because it was beautiful. Where is it? Where is it? Hold up. Oh, here it is. So the beauty of the peacock is unrivaled. It's easy to think it comes from the plumage, but the secret of the peacock is that the beauty resides within and extends outward indefinitely. This adept creature can assimilate or digest all experiences in life, so it does not harbor resentment, conflict, or past pain within its psyche. The peacock type is extremely rare. Not many of us have reached this advanced level of acceptance of the self and others. But it's that part. So when it's out of balance, it can't digest situations. It's just that part where it's like it can assimilate all experiences and it doesn't harbor resentment, conflict, pain, or things like that. It comes out of the rabbit, right? Yeah. I was like, ooh, don't make me cry, stuff. Don't make me cry. I saw it pop up in my subscription box. And then I think I was at work maybe when it had like things were so the past 8 days, there's so many things I haven't even seen. But then Eve sent me an email to make sure I saw it, and I'm so glad I did because it might have been lost in my memory. I was looking for a video to watch earlier. I forgot Amanda went live and posted because I was gonna watch those. I need to start using my watch later playlist. I say that every time. But so, and it's like it comes out of this. It feels like the peacock goes in to the Ten of Wands and it comes out a unicorn. This is after the peacock has assimilated those experiences. And because there, again, with the Six of Swords and the starfish that came out with the elephant at the very beginning of this, there's something deeply regenerative within the self. And it feels like it's bringing things that honestly we may not even know reside within us. Now, the level to that truth. Ah, that's gorgeous. It's fine, sweetie. Oh, it's almost been 2 hours. The level and the magnitude of that fire is beyond me. I'm not even gonna try. I am going to intentionally make the choice to not even try. Because I've had enough headaches, you know? But let's see, what's this unicorn? I think I'm just gonna pull before and after the Ten of Wands for both. Um, I guess it was kind of gorgeous, depending on like what you missed. I know Penelope does a thing. I think it's Penelope, or no, it's Skywaltress. I think it's Skywaltress, where she'll like watch double time to catch up. And I did that one time. I was like, okay, yeah. No, I mean I've been live for almost 2 hours now. So if you watch double time to try to catch up, that's an hour. But anyway. Wait, what song? There we go. Oh, the one that you posted, I did. Oh, I did. I watched that one. Um, and then you had, I was like, because in the thumbnail, it was like the picture of the owl, and then it changed. And I was like, did the screen change? I was like, oh, it's a screen. Okay. And then I was like, is it one of those holographic things where it's like if you move one way, it's one picture, and if you move another way, it's another one? So it did take me a second. But that's fine. Um, Double air sign says no. The Beauty Way came out with the unicorn. And there's an emergence in this Beauty Way. Like this, it's almost like those old like a song box, or that like I think it was like a fairy toy. It might have been Tinkerbell, or there was like a movie with different fairies, and like Tinkerbell was one of them. Um yeah. Does it not? You might have to like wait a second for it to process and then the chat should come back up. But if it's not, then oh, it is holographic? Okay. All right. I was like, I don't know what's happening. I was like, is it a screen? Is it holographic? I'm a little slow right now. It's fine. Um, but it's like it was when it feels like there was a toy where a little spinning fairy would like pop up out of a flower or something. It feels like that. Like the lotus or whatever this flower was, it was actually the cocoon for this to emerge from the Beauty Way. And it is unicorn energy. And you can see this moon question mark dark celestial body. Um but with the Ten of Wands again, it feels like it feels like that energy again. It's like as you maybe that's what healing has the power to do within the collective. And maybe that's why it's that message of like you were chosen to suffer because of your strength, but not chosen to suffer um like eternally, not to always suffer. Like your strength, life, like yours to come out of it. not bound to suffer indefinitely. That's indefinitely was the word I was looking for. But it's like as you move, then you become this beauty wave force in the world. And it's almost like because it is like a dragonfly, right? It's like you pollinate other beauty wave flowers within people. Again, going back to the energy of impact. Um, and it's gorgeous. So the Ten of Wands and the Peacock, let's see. I can't remember if I've seen the Ten of Wands or not. Oh, yep, here it is. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is interesting. Oh, crap. I was supposed to put the Ten of Wands back. The Ten of Wands came out between the Father of Swords and the Seven of Wands. The Father of Swords I saw at the bottom of the deck earlier. The Seven of Wands, it's very much that, again, it was that energy. Oh, thank you, Twitty. I try. It took work and effort, but I'm loving it. Question mark. I am. I am. Because the Father of Swords was before it was an energy of like, where was it? Learning to navigate the world, because that's the Knight of Cups or the Son of Cups, the Son of Pentacles, and the other card came out. The Empress came out before it. It was like learning how to navigate the world in this new, more to not put together, like from this space of less internal conflict, from the space of allowing yourself to literally blossom. It's like navigating the world from that place. And then this, it feels more like that's the process of like pollinating someone else's beauty way. That's what that feels like. And maybe the King of Swords can see it. But again, going back to that video that Amanda posted a while ago now at this point, it's like even if the King of Swords can see within someone else what would help pollinate their beauty way, the King of Swords knows that he has to allow them their path. He has to allow them their timing. So the King of Swords almost carries like a Gandalfy energy. Um, the Father of Swords, where it feels like he's able to like say something or like give a clue. I mean, honestly, like it feels like it plays out as like support. Um, but it's like there's something that the Father of Swords does or says that holds a lot of power that is to be discovered later. And so that's why the Father of Swords allows that seed the time to germinate and grow. Or maybe instead of the seed, it's just like a watering can, right? It's like you give somebody a watering can for random. Just like, oh, I saw this watering can and I thought of you. And that person's like, well, this is weird. Okay. But they hold on to it. And then let's say, life happens, some time passes, they move, and then they want to start a garden. Maybe they like, you know, they get a vegetable or a fruit. They get a fruit, question mark, with some seeds. And they plant it. And then they're like, oh, I have this watering can. It's like that. And again, like Father of Swords, King of Swords energy, it's feeling like a part of the High Priestess puzzle that we don't currently factor into the energy of the High Priestess, because the Mother of Cups is like pre-High Priestess energy. So there's something about the knowing of the Father of Swords and the way that the Father of Swords interacts with the world and other individuals outside of ourselves in the world with that knowing, but at the same time allowing them to come into their own in their own time. Because just like with how the Father of Swords came out for us, being how we discover ourselves and how we rediscover ourselves in the world that we're also rediscovering, and how that process of unfolding allows us to blossom in the unique way that we're meant to. The same is true for others. We can't dictate how others blossom and unfold and what their life becomes. Some of us try, but we shouldn't, because there's a knowing greater than our own that knows. There's a knowing that knows. Um, but it's like that knowing will collaborate with them and will unfold for them, and then they'll find the way that they want to be in the world. Um, and it does feel like a part of it is finding. Like I know that it's like there may be some truth in pre-incarnation contracts, and there may be some truth in the things that you're destined to do, but it feels like there is also truth in the things that you choose to do. I just saw the Eternals yesterday, and I'm not gonna spoil the movie, but I feel like that was kind of sort of a part of it. It's like there are the things that you know it is your purpose to do, and then there are other things that you discover that come to be significant or come to hold importance in your life as you live life. And maybe your purpose shifts in that direction, or maybe your purpose expands to accommodate that. Maybe your purpose remains your purpose. All things are true to various degrees for different people, but it feels like there is a certain discovering that's also a part of the process. It's like, if you come in with a certain set of skills, or if you discover that you have a certain set of skills, it's like, okay, these are the skills. How do you want to use them? When do you want to use them? Where do you want to use them? And what is the impact, I guess, that you desire to make, right? So 12 is the hangman, yeah. Oh, I'm hungry. So I literally have this many cards left, and I still need the mother and the daughter of cups. See, okay, I will talk about this real quick because the Seven of Wands literally just came out. The oyster and the Seven of Wands, I feel like that confirms that there's something as this oyster. See you later, Holly. Enjoy your time with your friend. As the oyster opens to release its pearl, it's like there's a part of the oyster's life where it calcifies the irritation to create the pearl. Oyster came out a minute ago with an energy of like allowing the oyster to release the pearl so we don't have to kill it or break it. You know what I mean? And it feels like that's part of it feels like the seven of wands in the oyster is releasing the pearl rather than the calcination or calcification that becomes the pearl. Um, but yeah, that's what that feels like. Part of le process. Oh, snap. This is interesting. Okay. Where was it? It was the very first one. Remember how the Son of Swords was looking in this direction with the moon and the Three of Swords, like the very first ones that came out. And it was the star, the sun, the moon, and then the Three of Swords, or the star, the sun, the moon, the Son of Swords, and then the Three of Swords. So around the next one, the Mother of Swords, it's in between the bat and the sun. It's interesting that it's the bat and not the moon, because I don't know if I've seen the moon card in the big deck yet. Um, but and then the mouse is at the bottom of the deck. This mouse is so cosmic though. Oh my gosh, look at this. See, there is a certain timidity with this, or it's like Mother of Cups isn't doing all that she can do. And look, behind the mouse is the white tiger, which is the high priestess in the tarot deck. So, oh, what is that? I don't know. Oof. Okay. So with the sun at the back of the Mother of Cups, she would cast a shadow. I don't know if her shadow is the cup. I just noticed that the Mother of Cups is between the sun and the moon, but again, it's the sun and the bat. It's not the moon, but it feels like maybe it's about sensitivity. And that reminds me of Ream's. Ream just did a reading. It might have been the Gemini one. There was a video she did. I think it was Gemini. Did Gemini get the blank page? Um, the blank page, and then it's like the color was coming down onto the page, and she pulled the butterfly. And in the butterfly card, I've never noticed that it looks like the butterfly has like three sets of wings. Because like two of them are like the blue and the black with the white spots, and then one of them is like orange with the colored spots. And she was like, see, the color is filling in the wings. And then the colors were in the Daughter of Swords card, like floating around. It reminds me of that. Makes me think of the app. It was that? Okay. I mean, I immediately go, it's like the immediate thought is that like we're used to being bats, creatures who have limited knowledge and experience, and we operate off of what we can collect information off of based on echolocation in the dark. And using echolocation in the dark, it's good for gauging distances and sizes of objects and like navigation, but it doesn't necessarily provide you an accurate, I wouldn't necessarily think it provides you an accurate image of what something looks like. Like you can get all kinds of properties of a thing, the density, again, like how much volume it takes up. But as far as like the facade, as far as the visage, as far as the appearance, it probably doesn't help. And it's almost like there are things that we wouldn't even recognize in sunlight because it might look different than we thought it would look. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're taller than I thought you would be, or shorter, or whatever. I personally don't watch every Zodiac, but I know she did the community post and she told me that Gemini felt collective. And like the sea serpent came up in Gemini. So that's why I was like, oh snap, what's going on with the serpents right now? That's why I'm like, come on, Reem. I'm ready. Ready for that channeling to see what the sea serpent is about. Because in like the spiral serpent, when it was like, oh my gosh, it feels like the spiral is the serpent and it's alive. And that's when I was like, what? Like I don't necessarily like I believe that there's a consciousness behind like to the universe and to everything in it, but like it felt like it had more life than I ever would have thought it to have. And I didn't know what it meant. Still don't know what it means, which is why I'm waiting for Reem. So yeah. But again, like Eve, sometimes I'll pop in. Most of the time, it's like I'll watch Pisces, I'll watch Taurus because I'm a Pisces sun, Taurus moon, and rising. Sometimes I'll watch Aries because my Venus is in Aries. Um, but you know, also if someone's like, "Hey, like this energy felt really collective," then I'll probably watch that too. Um, so let's see. I'm gonna pull a card for the bat first. But it feels like again, like we're used to being a creature of the night, and now we have to transition to living in a different environment. And almost like the rabbit, it's like, there may be or should be a change in behavior because the environment is different. So, two cards that fell face down on top of the bat, the sweat lodge and the sun. The sun card, the sweat lodge and the sun. And look, again, like the sun is already here. This is interesting. What does this mean? This is also 53 and 54, or 54 and 53. The 50, I think I saw the sweat lodge first. I don't remember. I held them up, the sweat lodge and the sun. I guess either way, because I was like, I don't know if this is taking a step back or if it's taking a step forward, if it's like 8-9 or 9-8, but it feels like it's a 9-8 because we have to take a step back and learn to. It's like there are certain ways that we've evolved and adapted to interacting with our environment, and we've become very good at it. But it's like we have to take a step back and to relearn the world and to almost evolve or allow ourselves to evolve in a new environment. Because like while like echolocation is probably still helpful for like sun environments, like dolphins use echolocation, right? And they can see, like especially if they're not super deep in the water. But there's something about this, it's like it's different. And with the sweat lodge and the sun, this feels like not a bleed. Bleed isn't the right word. It feels like we're gradually sort of like learning to. It's like we're gradually learning to live in the light, and we're learning like what behaviors and um thoughts and reactions we picked up that we no longer need or that we're not going to need. And so it feels like it's about an openness into this transition. Um, I think the Father of Cups, yeah, the Father of Cups was the last one that I got. The Father and then the Mother of Cups. Um, the Sweat Lodge was your six in the Tesla trap reading. Mm. Staring at your light seer sun card. Oh, snap. What? How synchronous. I'm gonna start saying that now because of Rob. Hmm. How synchronous. So let's see, where's the sun? The sun was next to the star. Oh, see? See how that it kind of came back? Yeah. Yep. So now, because I remember it was the star, the Son of Cups, or the Son of Swords, the moon, and then the Six of Cups. But now we get the star and the Six of Cups because this is the clarifier, right? And I meant to put it back in the deck, but I messed up again. It's fine. I'll just shove it in there somewhere on top of the Son of Wands. Perfect. I still gotta like. Oh, snap! It's y'all birthday numbers. I still gotta go through the video. I missed it. Oh. See, okay, so there's something about this. This is almost like the starfish. Like, oh, let me see. I gotta block out two roots. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it's like, where's something I can use to like, where's my pointing pen? My pointing pen is getting a little, but if you look at it like that, let's see. It feels like this is the starfish, right? It's like that's the star. And then there's like the little ones there. And it feels like the top of the tree is getting cut off to allow it to regrow. And that was the energy with the starfish. It felt like part of it was being cut so it could grow back. Um, and as it grows back, it's going to grow back healed. Like that was the purpose. It felt like that was the purpose of cutting the piece off of the starfish, right? It was the energy. It was like, um, it's like amputation for medical reasons, but it's amputation knowing that it'll grow back. So when you know it'll grow back, it's different. It's psychologically different because you know that it's going to grow back. Like, right. You know it's going to be a matter of time until you more or less return to normal functioning, but healthier, better because of whatever you cut off. And it's like it's learning to grow back under the presence of the sun rather than all of the evolution that happened under the moon. And again, it's like that's what it feels like the sweat lodge in the sun is. It's like unlearning certain things and readjusting. And again, I feel like again, this energy of like after that happens, it's like the way you interact with the world, it's like allowing the world to be more because you're more or you're different. Like that's here again. So I feel like honestly, I probably could have stopped after the lovers. After, I mean, the whole thing was about the geese. It literally came out with the lovers that were the geese. You know, we dove in, we got a little bit more information. Maybe we felt around a little bit, so it's not for nothing. But ultimately, it's like it's going back to the beginning. Yeah, exactly, like the lizard's tail. And it also felt like with the star that all of these colors again, and it's like it's the colors in the roots as above, so below. But all of those colors are gonna like come together in the star. It's like the colors are now in the star. These things have lost their color. I don't know what it means or what happens when that happens, but all right, let's go. Let's finish out strong. Okay. Oof. So it's the last two cards. I love that. I love how the left section evolved because it kind of sort of told the story. Again, with the Son of Swords going back, it's like the Son of Swords is going back to something of the past, but to be mindful that we take who we are now back with us and that we don't revert to who we were in that situation or in those situations when they occurred. Because a lot of times, like when you get triggered or when something resurfaces from the past, it's like we revert, we go back to who we were then. And then we saw the rabbit, right? Well, first it was the Empress, and then it was the rabbit. Empress is like when we're blossoming, we're blooming. The rabbit, when we face that fear and we might lose it. And then we came into the bat, right? Was there something between the rabbit and the bat? Let me see. Yeah, the unicorn. And then it was the unicorn and then the bat. where it's like, we're readjusting. And so we're ending with the deer and death on the other sides of this Daughter of Cups. And the Daughter of Cups, her body is facing the direction that the Mother of Cups is. Well, she's kind of facing forward, but if we look at all of them, the Mother of Cups is the only one who is like firmly going against the grain. She's also the only one that's in the dark, right? Because like they're looking that way, same direction as this one, same direction as that one, same direction as that one. Mother of Cups is looking the other way. Daughter of Cups is like turned in that direction, but kind of looking forward, kind of looking back or whatever. So the other reading card, who was this? Oh, Temperance. So there's literally only 2 cards left. The Daughter of Cups was 2 cards from the bottom, and it's Temperance and the 8 of Pentacles. And then there's that web again. So there's something about the elucidator of the elders. You always give me such glamorous titles, Twitty. I'm just a dude pulling cards. Mercury messing with your phone. It's that retrograde. Mercury went retrograde while Venus was still retrograde. These are the last 2 cards. And there's something about maybe it's because the web is so delicate. It requires it's like it requires a delicate hand to unweave and reweave the tapestries. And that's something that Russ has been talking about for a minute, ever since the Norn reading, really, which was again where the message of like the thorns and the briars that block the future and how it sort of resolved through the past. It's like it all came out around that time. But that's what it feels like this is. But it feels like with the energy of Temperance and the fire and water. Oh no, it was in this deck. I gotta pull it. It was the spider. I'm pretty sure the spider came out fairly early. I think it came out fairly early. I'm pretty sure it did. There it is. It's like as we're unweaving and reweaving the web with Temperance, it's like we're introducing something different. Was it like this? Yeah, I think so, right? Or was it like this? Let me see. Was it like this? Yeah, it was like that. So this goes here. We're introducing like colors and different elements or something as we do it. This is what happens when we're open to receive all that rabbit energy sort of like blocks us from. So these are literally, that's how close the Daughter of Pentacles is to the bottom of the deck, or the Daughter of Cups, and literally this. Like how I said, we're introducing the color onto the web. That's where the colors come from. You know what I mean? So I think that it's just a little bit of like be gentle, like go easy on yourself. You don't have to be so whatever, you know. You must have been in a band in a past life. I love it. Why not be in one in this one? And see, there was something about the star, right? Where it was taking in all of the light. And maybe that's why we end with the daughter, who is a page, because it is so much of this is about being in a position, being in a space, being a page again, where we're rediscovering, we're relearning, we're allowing ourselves to become even more. We're revolving, like we evolved under the presence of the moon and the bat, and we're coming into a new space under the sun. and it feels like it's not yet necessarily set in stone. Again, it's that energy where it's like it's something for us to grow into. Um, but how all of the colors were coming into the star, we see that here in her shadow. And so maybe the cup was the shadow that was cast by the sun for this Mother of Cups. And then she's going through the Son of Cups process of like putting the colors into the cup so that then they can become the shadow. And it's almost like this is the cup because this is the only cup on that card. All of the other court cards, they have a cup. Besides the Father of Cups, the Father of Cups doesn't have it either. So the Father of Cups, so this is, and I'm not going to watch this back to see what message came out where, but it feels like this is the cycle. We start with the Mother of Cups, which is that intuition, which is that intuitive. See you later, Rhea. Where you go? We start with the Mother of Cups, and then she's putting the colors into the cup that becomes her shadow and the Daughter of Cups. And the Father of Cups is when all of the colors bleed into the Swan. The Father of Cups were, because again, like they're the only two that don't have the cups. So I put cards on top of cards on top of cards. The Deer and Death. It feels like the deer is in a space of peace and allowance that the rabbit struggled with. And again, it's like the deer because the elk was on the other side of that rabbit, right? Growing a new pair of horns instead of holding on to all of the other stuff. Oh gosh. Sorry, I got a card. The Wheel of Fortune just fell on the floor. I'm picking it up in reverse. See? Oh, this did come out. It was like the moon was gradually transitioning over to the sun, right? But it's like, how do we do that? How do we allow that? Um, North Node Taurus will help us. I don't know. So the mystical shaman card to clarify the deer, and then I'll look before and after death. A card jumped up and it went back in face down. So for the deer, please. Dearly beloved, we have gathered you here on today to celebrate the rebirth of you. There we go. Face down on top of the spider and the Eight of Pentacles. This is how it fell, like that. Oh, it's the seer. The seer with the deer. Oh, look at that. If you the seer, the deer, the cedar. It could be Seeder, the person who plants the seeds, or it could be the Cedar, as in the cedar tree. I'm actually going to look up the properties of cedar real quick because I don't know. All right, let's go to Google. Cedar, spiritual meaning. There we go. That'll give me something. The cedar has been used for healing, purification, and for spiritual protection. Its spiritual properties are supposed to promote peaceful thoughts and help interpret messages from the inner self. According to classroom.synonym.com, something, maybe. It's the first thing that popped up on Google, okay? It's the first thing that popped up on Google. Wait, what? Who can marry people? Have a good night, Elza. Thank you for stopping by, for being here. See, I think the important part about the seer, well, jury's sort of out ish. But the seer doesn't see with their eyes. I think that is kind of important for this year because, again, with that Six of Pentacles, the reason why we were stuck in rabbit energy and the reason why it felt so hard to break into that Six of Swords and then the Starfish to take on all of that healing rather than Gaia, Pachamama having to take it on and then present it back to us. Not that there's anything wrong, but it's almost, I'm of the mind, it's like, well, if you can shortcut the process, if you can cut out the middleman, if you can take it directly and move on, a little bit quicker. So, because, as people, we don't like to be in situations that we don't like to be in for any longer than we need be. Um, Here she is. It's like before Earth, our experiences, this was what almost prevented us from being able to see the fullness or being able to integrate this. But with the blind seer, there's something about like knowing that it has to use a different sense to pick up on all that energy. And again, like this is it. So it's going to take us back to the beginning. It's because the deer accepts and allows and moves forward. It's like the deer, like they're also prey animals, right? And a lot of times you see deer, they'll scare you off. But if you face the right buck, they'll get you. And like let alone Meese. Oh my gosh. Meese are monstrous. But it's like it feels like again, deer is able to take in what the daughter of Pentacles wasn't because of her Pentacle experience. So it's seeing in a new way. I got cards all over the place. So who was that? Death. Before and after death. Let's see. Oh, I'm getting hungry. I'm hungry. Oh, snap. Is this card going to be at the top of the deck too? Hello? Oh my gosh. Look. Literally the last three cards. So the daughter of me, married people. What? The daughter of Cups was two cards away from the bottom. Or technically three. Death is literally the bottom three cards. There's the Son of Pentacles again. This time with the Mother of Wands. And I saw the snake on the egg earlier. The snake was right next to the cosmic egg. And it was like the cosmic egg. It was something was hatching. It was either something was hatching or the snake was allowing the cosmic egg to breathe where it was suffocated before. And so it couldn't hatch. Um, where are you? Here you are. And there's the Son of Pentacles again. I had to put the Son of Pentacles back on the deck, remember? He just came out. That's the first time that's happened. Just Googled it. The correct plural of moose is moose. Oh, that sounds good, Steph. I know the correct plural of moose is moose, but I like saying meese. Meese just sounds more fun. Don't be such a Virgo, Eve. Just let me have this. Let me be a Pisces. Let me have meese. I'm just playing. The Mother of Wands and the Son of Pentacles. Where did the Son of Pentacles come out before? With the I mixed the cards up. I think it came out with the rabbit though. This is coming out for death. You waited so long. You did. You did. Thank you for letting me have it as long as you did. Um, there's a baby snake in your yard yesterday, but you felt it was scared. What? Virgos rule. Virgos rule because Virgos create the rules, okay? It's not fair. It's not a fair system of evaluation. I feel like if we were in the 70s, question mark, I wasn't alive, but like 60s, 70s, Pisces would have ruled. You know what I mean? Now we're all in this Virgo age. Everything has to make sense. What? I'm just playing. Oh no. I'm not that clever, Amanda. All the Virgos in the chat have the same urge. Just embrace Meese. Embrace Meese. It's fun. Goose, geese, moose, Meese. Hello? Right? It feels like the mother of wands is I'm the weak Virgo I caved. Well, some would say that the weakest is actually the strongest. Your mom was a Pisces. My dad is a Virgo. I don't have any Virgo in my chart, but my father, I think I can't remember if he's a double Virgo or not. So, and my mom says I do have some of his tendencies. So, exactly, Twitty. Twitty gets it. Um, it feels like the Mother of Wands is about to uncoil from these eggs. Because again, it's just that energy of like something is ready to hatch with that death card, because death, it's like death is not the end, it's merely a space of transition into the next um phase. But it feels like almost with that wheel of fortune that just fell on the floor and I had to pick back up, right? Sun side up. It's like something is ready to hatch. And it's like when this thing hatches, when it comes to pass, it will not be what it once, like things will not be what they were before. And we would do ourselves a great disservice to continue to approach things the way that we always had, with the mindset that we grew to accept, which is why it's like if the voice of the divine is saying something or telling you something despite what has already occurred and despite what has already happened, and even if it is high priestess in the way where you don't understand or know what it means, it's just to like have that openness to allow it to show you what it means. And all you got to do is keep living life and probably be brave, probably be courageous, probably like let go of some things or be open to things that you might not have been. And again, always use your discernment, always, always, always. But but at the time, when your discernment and when your intuition leads you in a direction that your anxiety, especially anxiety based in previous situations, would cause you to be averse to, it doesn't have to be immediate, because the energy, again, it's the Son of Pentacles. It's okay for you to take your time, but it's to at least allow things to be different. You know, you can have your worries, your fears, your anxieties, but and it feels like even a guarded sort of curiosity would benefit and serve us a lot better than just not. And it feels like we're strong enough now to handle things that maybe we couldn't in the past, or where we have enough wherewithal to, when it's definitely not something, to know and just to like leave. You know what I mean? I don't know. It might make more sense as things change more drastically. Who knows? But I'm gonna timestamp final messages at 2:45. Pull, separate these cards, and then pull them and geese slash swans and Meese. 2:45, almost 3 hours. That's fine. Meese will make it into the dictionary one day. Exactly. Exactly. Energy bombs. Oof. Well, I mean, my birth cards are the Tower and the Chariot. I'm a Pisces, and my Neptune conjuncts my Uranus at 20 degrees Capricorn. And I'm a Capricorn midheaven, so Capricorn midheaven, Taurus rising. I guess usually like your midheaven and your rising would square. So they would be the same modality because it's like four houses apart. But my 12th house is huge. So I have an earth rising and an earth midheaven, which nicely makes up for the fact that I have absolutely no Virgo in my chart, but like every other element, every other zodiac energy. I can use context clues to make it to Virgo sometimes. It's not easy. It's always a challenge. Well, if I'm on the clock, it's a lot easier because that's when all the Capricorn in me and my Capricorn midheaven kicks in. If you see me at work, depending on the job, you might be surprised that I don't have any Virgo because I can be sometimes a little anal retentive. I know, um, but it's fine. We all have our shades and the everything's in between, right? So, oh, I'm starving. 3 hours, yeah, it does. See you later, Steph. Ooh, your Virgo sun is in the 12th house. What? I feel like I can't even imagine what a 12th house Virgo sun like. What? Hmm. I feel like I imagine a 12th house Virgo sun that's just kind of like, what's happening? Like, I'm trying to see this. Oh my gosh. What? It's like one of those memes where I don't know. It's just like cosmic waves just like rushing over you and just like trying to like stand and being like, oh my gosh. But I feel like a 12th house Virgo sun, it's almost like one of the things that I love about Sagittarius readers is that I feel like Sagittarius has such a gift. It's one of the signs that has such a gift for like, I think Virgo kind of falls in the same, honestly, where it's like it can get straight to the point, but it's also like mutable and Jupiter ruled. So it's able to like expand, get it, and then deliver it. I just love how Sagittarius delivers because like my sun is in Pisces, my Mercury is in Pisces, my North Node is in Sagittarius. So I'm working towards it. But sometimes I'm like, let's take a 15-hour trip to get two steps down the street. And Sagittarius is just like there. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, all right. See, there's things that we all bring, even Virgo. Okay, especially Virgo. But like low key, honestly, it was I think the new moon in Virgo 2020. Virgo came out with like some kind of low key, out of the blue, real. Like I thought it was gonna be one thing, it was something completely different. And then Virgo started coming out with like this powerhouse energy. I was like, what? Was Virgo the sleeping powerhouse of the zodiac this whole time? What? What is going on in Virgo? See, don't sleep on Virgos. Your North Node is Lilith. What? My progressed rising is it Gemini now? It might be Gemini. Um, Actually, it's probably yeah, it should be Gemini. Let me check real quick. Hold up. Yes, in Gemini. Wow, my progressed rising is conjuncting my progressed south node. Is conjuncting my progressed moon. 14 degrees 30 minutes Gemini rising, 14 degrees 37 minutes Gemini south node, 18 degrees 37 minutes Gemini moon. Oof. What's on my south node? Nothing, just a descendant. Wow, okay. Bernie, what's up? How you been? How are you, Bernie? Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, right. Oof. Moon and South Node conjunct my progressed descendant. What does that mean? After I just had a year where my North Node was anti-polar or whatever, opposing the North transiting North Node, where the transiting North Node is about to conjunct. I guess that'll be interesting. Because I guess around the same time that the transiting north node will be conjuncting my moon, my progressed moon will be conjuncting my progressed south node in Taurus and Gemini. So who knows what that means? Who knows? Apparently, when America has its Pluto return, I'll be my Saturn conjunction will be exact. No, it's when I think America might also be having its Pluto return exact. No, because that's like next month, right? Um, when Jupiter and Neptune conjunct in Pisces that day, my Saturn return will be exact. And Jupiter and Neptune are going to conjunct right on top of my Mercury in Pisces. So when it was just the Saturn return, I was like, I got this. I'm prepared. Now that we're throwing in extra conjunctions, I'm like, oof. I mean, I still believe I'll be prepared, but I didn't know I was preparing for all that. You know what I mean? I'm like, what? Because Russ was like, the conjunction is happening on April 12th. I was like, oh, I think my Saturn return is happening around April 12th. Hmm. It'll be a fun time. I'm separating the animal spirits and tarot right now. It's easier this way because I can just see the colors. Ooh, got it. Your transits look like a pollen painting. So you can use astro.com. That's a really good one. It's an app called Time Nomad, and I think it's on Android as well. I have it on iPhone, and I paid $3.99 to get the progressed add-on, but even the base, it's really good. So I think I've heard of Astro Seek. Let me shuffle these up And then I want to shuffle all of them and then get, yep, Time Nomad. I want to shuffle all of these and then get a final card. Twitty typed it. I think, I can't remember if it's all one word or if it's 2 words. I think it's 2 words. Yep, 2 words. Time Nomad. I wish I could. Hold up. Let me do this. There you go. And that's what the icon looks like. No, no. Un momento, por favor. Excuse me. Time passages. Ooh. There was another app that somebody told me about that looked really cool. Don't remember what it was. My buddy, Maxwell. I remember, like, I feel like I had a whole telepathic moment. He's a double Sag with a Leo rising, I think. And we had this interaction, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and we we knew. He was like, I could tell exactly what you were thinking. I was like, yes, oh my gosh. He was like, I was right there. And I met him one summer. I worked the job. I didn't dislike the job, but I just wanted something different. I didn't get anything different. But I felt like I was going to meet somebody that summer who would be important in my life in some way. And I actually met a few people, but he's one of them. So, yeah, I think depending, Time Nomad might be like that. Ooh, the 6 of Wands came out with the 9 of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and under that 9 of Cups is the Tower. But look, no, that's a 16-7. There's a 9 and a 6. Let's see what the first 3. I'll pull from the, or I'll look at the bottom of the deck. The first 3 is the 3 of Pentacles. And it's in between the 2 of Pentacles and the 2 of Cups. Next to that Wheel of Fortune. The 6 of Wands and the 9 of Cups. And I think that's the same. Yeah, that's pretty much the same moon. The same phase of the moon that's on the Empress, the Sun of Pentacles, and whatever that other card was. The moon. The moon, the Empress, and the Sun of Pentacles. And it just feels like it's like, as we've gone through healings and transformations, it feels like desire has changed. And I think that was the Gemini reading, the new wish and the old wish, Miss Remy Healings. But more, or not only is it like changing, it feels like it's a lot less muddy. It's a lot more clear. It's a lot more clean. It's a lot more pristine. There's a lot less baggage. There's a lot less muddy water. There's a lot less like 7 of Cups energy. It's like we're in the space of 9 of Pentacles, but it might, or 9 of Cups, but it might be a toss up like the 7 of Cups. You might get one of those muddy wishes. So it's like, ooh, like I thought I wanted this, but I really don't. Um, but yeah, it's the space of a victory through transformation. And it also feels a little bit like we'll be able to engage with the wish in a healthier way than if we had got it before. Um, but it feels like we participate or contribute to its manifestation in some way, which isn't surprising. But what you did? Muddy Wishes, nice song title. Make the music, Twitty. The Nightingale. I saw the Nightingale. The Sacrifice and the Tree of Life. 44 and 58. 58 is a 13-4. So there's a little bit of a numerological 444. See, but what's interesting is the sacrifice is coming out with the butterfly. Again, every time I see the sacrifice lately, it feels more like an energy of like sacrificing fear, sacrificing. In the context of this reading, it's like with the rabbit, sacrificing that rabbit energy, like the mindset that everything and everyone is out to get you and the world is out to get you and all of that, to allow yourself to experience your abundance and radiance and prosperity to its fullness. um, and at the root of the world tree we see a bunch of butterflies. The butterflies aren't coming from the middle. Well, there are some. Well, no, are those butterflies or four-leaf clovers? Actually, they may be. These are butterflies, but the butterflies that are the same color as the sacrifice, the butterflies that are the easiest to see, they're all at the roots of the tree. And it's very much that, you have to water your shadows, again, rustling around in the norns, growing your personal Yggdrasil, if it would focus. I guess it's focused up here. See that orange butterfly? And then it's like all those butterflies at the bottom of the tree of life. And there are actually green butterflies at the top that blend in with the leaves. And behind the tree of life is the upper world. So again, it's like there are things maybe that we have to sacrifice and transform at the root to experience the green butterflies in the upper world. I'm just the muse. Well, I feel like you're going to become more than that. You're a creator now, Twitty. You are a creator now. More than just a muse. That's interesting. Okay. And then let's see. The animal. I'm so hungry. It's been over 3 hours. Oh my goodness. Ooh. That was a good shuffle. I wish you could have seen it. Oh, okay. The lion like was starting to flip over with a few cards, but I caught it. Sorry. You embrace your creation. I'm glad to hear it. So, animals. The scorpion almost came out, but it flipped back over. The lion, the scorpion, fixed signs. Taurus. What is in so Taurus and Scorpio? No, that's Leo and Scorpio. We're entering. This is the first fixed node they'll access in the air epoch Aquarian great conjunction energy. So that gives us Aquarius. The nodes are about to shift, I think, in like what, 3 days on the 19th, maybe, as Uranus goes direct. So Uranus goes direct when the North Node shifts into Taurus. Uranus goes direct in Taurus when the North Node shifts into Taurus. What's in Leo though? I don't know. Hey, there we go. You got certified Reiki 2 right when the pandemic hit. I actually saw the crow at the cut, and I almost mentioned it for some reason. The cards that came out, it's the hawk and the elephant with the crow at the bottom of the deck, which is interesting. Well, the hawk, the elephant, and the crow. Both the crow and the elephant possess a jewel, but the hawk doesn't. But it feels like the hawk has. I actually thought of this because Reem mentioned the peregrine falcon and the kettle hawk. And I remember the peregrine falcon and the kettle hawk being a thing. And I think the kettle hawk taught precision because I think the peregrine falcon is like the fastest animal on the planet. I think it has dive speeds that are like incredible. Um, but the kettle hawk is also fast, but it has a certain energy of the phone died. No. See you later, Steph. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad to be a part of this experience, a mere contributor, if you will. Um, but the hawk has, it felt like the hawk had a certain precision that the falcon didn't, because the falcon is all about speed. And it's like when you're flying that fast, the slightest aerodynamic, like if one of your wingtips goes up a little bit, you can like tumble out. And I think the falcons dive like beak first, and the hawks dive with their talons. It might be the other way around. Um, unless the elephant is foraging something that is ready for the hawk to pick up. I don't know. Honestly, this one is beyond me. So the hawk, the elephant, the crow. My brain is gone. I can't. But maybe that's the thing. Again, it's like it's not the falcon. And so it feels like the hawk allows something to take time. It's like it allows the elephant to complete its process, but it's like as soon as the elephant is done, the hawk is there. It's right there. And so it's not necessarily premature, but it feels like things may go fastly. I don't know. Let's see. See you later, Amanda. Thank you again for being here. I can't wait to check out your videos. I was like, oh snap, Amanda's back. And then I had to work. And I was like, no. Ooh, the high priestess with the four of pentacles. See, this is the high priestess trying to like, how do I get them to see outside of the box when everything that they know constructs the box? Patience. The high priestess. Spirit is very patient. They kind of have to be. I'll take it. Oh, okay. So the final message from the Wada Known Tarot is everything from the beginning to the end of this video. But behind the lovers, so the Daughter of Cups came out. It flipped over. The lovers was at the bottom of the deck. The Hermit was under the lovers. But there's something about the lovers that's able to experience all of the beauty that the it's able to experience all the beauty that the Daughter of Cups is able to envision. Because again, with the high priestess and this Four of Pentacles, it's like, how do I get somebody to experience, to see everything outside the box when it's like they construct the very box themselves almost? And it's like the daughter of cups is able to perceive beyond that, but the lovers exists in it. The lovers thrives in it. They live in it. They experience it in a way where it's almost like that being the core of their experience. It's like changing the light bulb in a lighthouse. Or it's like if the sun were a disco ball. And so we got all different wavelengths of light instead of just, light, which is all the different wavelengths as one. But, anyway, there's something about this energy, like living in it, experiencing it. And what this one is beginning to sort of see or experience. And with the Hermit card again, it feels like it starts centrally inside of oneself. Well, again, her shadow is the rainbow. So maybe again, that's what the elephant is nearly releasing, that the hawk. I was going to say the fawk. The falcon, the hawk. That the hawk is ready to swoop in on. It's whatever that jewel is. It's gonna be gorgeous. Gonna be gorgeous. The elephant knocks obstacles on your path so you can fly like an eagle. The crow's the message of inner knowledge and knowing. Butterflies transformation, freedom, a new opportunity. That is gorgeous, Bernie. And speaking of that, the crow being the inner knowledge at the bottom of this deck, and then the hermit behind the lovers at the bottom of this one. So it feels like it's an inner knowledge, it's an inner knowing that, again, it feels like it puts us out into the world in a way, or it changes our experience with the world. Because usually when we see the hermit, it's like if someone's like, I went hermit mode, there's an element, there's an energy of isolation from the world. But with the lovers coming after that, it's a space where our truth is able to exist and to participate in the beauty of the creation. But from a Patrick, how would this all work standpoint, it's like, in order for us to have that experience, we have to allow others to have the same experience. Right. And it seems like, I mean, if the age of Aquarius is what the age of Aquarius is, then that's kind of the energy that we've built the age of Aquarius into. It's where we all get to be the true, gorgeous, beautiful versions of ourselves and live our truths. And yeah. So if you sat through this, I hope you got something out of it. You know, I will, hey, FL Heights, flights. Ha! Right? Flights. I think it's flights. It took me a second. I hope you all have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. Is that how I say that? Um, and I hope that whatever you need, you find whatever you desire, you acquire, and I wish the best for you. So, Matthew, what's up? All right, I'll catch you all later. Bye.